Good evening, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you for those who are watching on YouTube, who are watching on Facebook, who just took the time to search and you found me. My name is BD Wood, Brian Woodson, and I'm forever humbled. I'm grateful. I'm thankful that you're taking the time to watch my channel on today. I'm very appreciative. I don't take this for granted. This is something I love to do, enjoy to do. I enjoy, my goal here is to inspire, to encourage, and to be real and just have real talk. Because I believe the world needs it, and that's what it's all about. So I'm just yielding to God's will and just want to do what God has instructed me to do based on His will and based on me praying about this. I'm so thankful for this opportunity once again. And like I said, thank you for your feedback. Thank you for your input, your advice, your wisdom, your knowledge. Give me compliments or, give me criticism or what I can do to be better. I'm just so thankful for all of it because I want to be the best I can to impact lives and to impact others. And that takes, it takes everybody, it takes, everybody work together to make this happen. So I'm just thankful and I just want to be a vessel and just want to be a blessing and be a light. Today, my topic is really just waiting on God. Waiting on God, knowing when God says yes, knowing when God says no, and knowing when God says not right now. Like I told you, I'm open to suggestions and ideas and different topics. And I was talking to a friend on last week, and this particular friend, you know who you are. I appreciate you very much. She reached out to me and said, "Hey, can you talk about this subject about waiting on God?" Because she had a situation that she was going through. And I said, you know what? That was really on my mind, and I was trying to figure out how to put it together. So I want to be very brief about it, and just give you just some common theme about waiting on God. So I appreciate her sharing it. So we go through life right now, right? We go through various things in life to where we're praying about things. We're studying God's word. We're praying. We having others, praying for us, and then we're reading, we're studying, and we're like, okay, God, where's it at? Where's the answer? Where's the solution? I'm not getting anything. What's going on? What do we do? Sometimes, we have to understand that, first of all, that God's timing is not our timing. God's going to work according to His will and according to His way. That's first. Next, we need to understand that sometimes God's going to say yes. Sometimes God's going to say no. Sometimes God's going to say not right now. And sometimes God may not say anything. So, sometimes when it's a yes, we're thankful. We're ready to receive the blessing. God opens the door. Things just happen, right? That's probably the easiest thing that we have in the world. And I'm just going from just my personal experience and what others share with me. All of a sudden the answer is yes. I prayed about it, and I got this. For example, you apply for a job, right? You prayed about it. You prayed, God knows the desires of your heart. You prayed, everything lined up. The timing was perfect. Everything was perfect. You prayed about it. You knew that you was truly in the will of God, because sometimes the enemy can come in and distract and shift and turn. So you got to be careful when you pray. And they always say, be careful what you pray for. That's absolutely true. But I'm saying you truly in the will of God, and you truly prayed, and then all of a sudden God truly delivered the desires of your heart. You got that job you truly desired. You prayed to be married. You prayed. You did whatever you can to be right as a single person, meaning you lived a life. You prayed. You studied. You lived a life according to His word the best way you can. You did all these various things, and God bless you with that dream person that you desire to be with based on the desires of your heart according to His will, and had that person for you. Things lined up, you started dating, you got engaged, you got married, you had a family, and things are lining up. Yes, you have problems, you have obstacles, you have different situations that goes on, of course, but overall, God bless you with that desire of your heart for both of you, and it just lined up, right? Being in God's will. That's a yes, right? And that's an exciting thing. But what if it's a no? Or not right now? Or they're just complete silence? That's gonna happen, right? You know, um, there's been times when, for example, I've applied to, there was a time in my life, a few years back, as a matter of fact, I was at a job, and I was at this job, and they laid me off. Well, they said it, yeah, they laid me off. And so what happened was that I said, okay, they gave you like, okay, we're gonna lay you off in 6 months, right? So what I did was that, me being just, the active person that I am, I'm not gonna sit around and wait till the last minute. And me, like I said before, I'm a planner. I went and applied for jobs. And I explained to them, because the current job where I was at was gonna give me a service package if I stayed through the end. And so it just so happened I went to this job, and it just so happened, and I was like, hey, they said, when can you start? Well, I kind of need like 6 months. Hey, come on now. When you get a job, what I'm saying, you're going to start within a month, couple of weeks, whatever. And the funny thing was that the job was like, okay, we can wait 6 months, because we actually, kind of in transition. We're not in a rush or hurry or whatever. And we can give you that 6 months, let you work through. We can work with that. And I was like, I'm like, this is God. I'm like, oh my God, man. I got a job lined up. I can work at this other job where I was at, you know what I'm saying? And life's going to be great, man. This thing was set. I was excited. But you know what happened? That was so interesting about this situation. So I remained at the job I was at. And I was there, all the way, about the 5th month came. The job called me and said, we need you sooner. And I was like, I still got a month left. Y'all promised me in writing, in email, and in writing, that you're going to wait 6 months for me. They said, well, you're either going to come now, or we're going to get a job with somebody else. I was like, well, I thought about it. I said, you know what? I got to leave, you know what I'm saying? I got to have employment, got to have money. I was going through transition, and all that. So I left the job where I was at. They hated to see me go early. They worked with me, and they gave me a little money, but I didn't get the full money, for staying that certain time like they wanted me to. So I left, and I went over there. And the funniest thing, let me tell you how God works, man. God humbled me, because first of all, I thought I was untouchable. I'm like, man, come on now. Me losing a job, I was the best employee they had, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna get laid off, I'm talking about the previous job where I was at. I'm the best employee, had the highest numbers. I mean, I was doing great. But I got laid off. That humbled me. The second thing that humbled me was sometimes things that are too good to be true are too good to be true. So that job I went to that was gonna wait for me, I went to it. Okay, and started, like they said, a month earlier. I mean, the environment was great. Had my own office. I mean, I wasn't in no cubicle no more. I was like, yeah, this is great. I'm going to love this thing. The job was hard, man. It was stressful. I was making a little bit less money. I was driving further out. It was stressful. I lasted 1 week there. But you know what was funny about it? As soon as I got over there, another job called me that I wanted to go to and said, hey, we want you. And so I was like, okay, cool. So the job that said they're going to have me waiting, I was there for 1 week. I had enough. And for the first time in my life, instead of putting in a notice, I walked in and said, you know what? You can shove this. Not like that, not cussing or anything. But I'm like, you know what? The job is done. I can't do it no more. And I walked out. First time I ever done that in my life. That was a humbling experience. And God had to remind me, Brian, you're not untouchable. Because you know what? I went to that next job. Was there for 1 week. The job that I've been wanting to go to that blocked and delayed me months before. Went there for 1 week. They turned around and told me, well, you don't really... Things is just not working out. You're not a good fit for what we're looking for. And I'm sitting up here like, so I left one job that said it's going to wait on me, but didn't wait on me. And then I go to another job that been wanting me for months, and I kept turning them down. And then finally they wanted me, and then I get there, and then they tell me, we don't want you due to reasons that I'm not going to say on this channel, but due to unethical reasons, you know what I'm saying, pretty much. It was unethical, you know what I'm saying, and not right. And they let me go after the week. So now, guess what? I am unemployed. So what was a yes at first really ended up being a no because I left. And then I go somewhere else that was waiting, which was not right now, like I said earlier. And then all of a sudden, that got let go. And now I'm in pause mode, like, what am I going to do? So that's why I mentioned yes, no, not right now, silence. That's the power of God. That's what he does. To make us humble, to remind us of who he is and how he is to us for the betterment of the kingdom. He uses us to be a blessing to somebody else and to impact lives. We go through a test to be a testimony, to be a blessing to somebody else, because it's not about us, but it's all about him and him using us for his kingdom. God humbled me, showed me himself by yes, no, not right now, silence. Think about that for a moment in your life. Have you had a situation that you were waiting on God and God said yes? And sometimes God said no. And sometimes God said not right now. And sometimes God was just completely silent. Stay still. But God did bless me with a job. It was a temp job a couple months later. And then I ended up at the job where I'm at now. Amazing how God works. More to come on that later on. But right now, I just wanted to make that point that God does work in mysterious ways. And yes, I suffered and went through not having a job a couple months. First time in my life that I didn't have a job. But God blessed me to save up, because as I was transitioning from that layoff, I was saving up, preparing for just in case something was to happen. I didn't think something was going to happen as far as having a gap in employment. But when I got a temp job, I was down to my last $100. And God blessed me with that temp job. And then 3 weeks later, he blessed me with a permanent job, the job where I'm at now, where I've been there for 5.5 years. You don't tell me that's the power of God, I don't know what is. Because that's how God works. Sometimes you pray about something and then sometimes you pray about something and you truly think that you're ready. You truly think that it's your time. And then all of a sudden, it doesn't happen right now. You get discouraged. You get defeated. You get down. But you know what? Sometimes God has to remove something in that particular job, or remove someone in that job that you truly want, so that when you do go there, you will be a good fit and you will be ready for the job. But until then, he has to continue to mold and shape you where you are, so that way when he does move you to that new job, where he remove that boss or people or that situation, you are molded and shaped for your blessing. That's the power of God, and that's how God moves, and that's how God works. So that's why sometimes it can be not right now or a no. And sometimes it can be a no because God sees a danger or sees something to protect his child. We want something so bad, but he wants to protect you. Let's say you want a brand new car, for example. You've been dreaming about this car. Oh, I want this car. Oh, I want this car. You go to the dealership. This car recently just got a bad recall on it, and they had to recall all the cars of that brand and model that you wanted. But you really wanted that car. And so, but you didn't know that behind the scenes just yet. But it happened The next day you found out, or the next week you found out. God blessed you with a car, but it wasn't that car. Some reason, something happened to where maybe a financial institution, something didn't work out with the loan you needed to get the car. Maybe something got delayed. Maybe the car you wanted wasn't there, but for some reason you just end up being there, and all of a sudden you got even a better deal, and you say, you know what, I'm gonna get this car rather than the car I wanted. I mean, it's just amazing how things happen. So all of a sudden that happened, right? And then you got the car. You drove off the lot. You happy you got a car, but you're like, dang, I really wanted the other car. And you're mad about it. But God just blessed you with a new car. But then all of a sudden, what happens? The next day, you look on TV, that same car that you've been praying about, you've been like, oh God, please, Lord, I've been in your will. I've been giving. I've been doing this. I've been doing that. And all of a sudden, on the news, all those cars got recalled and people died, or something bad or tragic happened with that car, and it's gone. There's no more of the car. God protected you. God shielded you. That was God protection. That may have been a no, but God still blessed you with a car. It may not have been the car you wanted, but God still blessed you with a car. Because that car that you wanted, for some reason, was not on the lot that day. You knew the place it was going to be at. You knew the time it was going to be at. But something happened that day. Some unusual circumstances happened. You know how it is in life. Some things just happen. And then all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, what happened? God protected you. It was a no, but it was a yes to something else, because God protected you. Because you were driving that car that day. You could have died. Something could have happened. There was recalls on it. You bought the car. Now you bought it. Now it's in your possession. You drove it off the lot. God forbid, boom, something happened. And God knew all of this, and he protected you. Yield to the will of God and accept those no's sometimes, because sometimes those no's are for your protection. God's looking out for you. God sees something that you don't see, because all we see is just the right now. But God sees, yes, he's seen yesterday, he's seen today, he sees forevermore, and he sees the future. So I thank God for that. Just like with my job situation that I just mentioned, he's seen the yesterday, he's seen the today, and he's seen the future. And despite the journey I went on, he blessed me with that. And finally, sometimes we pray and God is just silent. Doesn't say anything. And we're like, okay, God, are you going to answer my prayer? You know, that's a song that says we will understand it better by and by. And that song is actually true. We will understand it better by and by. And sometimes that pause is an indication we'll understand it better by and by. When there's a pause, it constantly reminds me to just pray harder, study harder, live life better, and to yield to the will of God and trust him and to stay still. He ain't told me to move. He ain't told me to change. He ain't told me to shift nothing. He just wants me just to continue living the way I'm doing, the best way that I can, continue to be a light, continue to be a blessing, continue to do what I do. And in this timing and in this way, he will either open a door, close a door, or whatever he decides to do, because it's all about God and his will and his timing. So we got to yield to God's will. We got to always wait on God. Remember that God can say yes. He can say no. He can say not right now. Or we can be just in pause mode, just in silence. Whatever the case may be, God's plan is always right. God's will is always right. And God's way is always right. It's not about our agenda, but it's about God's will and God's way. I hope that my story has helped and blessed you today. I hope that some examples have blessed you today in some kind of way. I appreciate my friend for sharing and giving me this input on this topic, because she went through something similar, and I was telling her and trying to give her some feedback about it. So I pray that it bless her as well. I thank you for it. So I just thank all y'all for taking time to just listen to my channel today. I know I went for a while today. I just thank God for the opportunity. I'm humble. I'm grateful. I thank all of you for watching. Take the time to watching. Take the time to watch, to listen. I'm humble. I'm grateful. I don't take the opportunity for granted. I just want to impact somebody's life. I just want to be a blessing and to just, be real, to be raw, but also at the same time to encourage and to inspire. That's all a part of ministry. That's all a part of our everyday life and our everyday journey. Allow your life to be a blessing to somebody else by the way you live. Waiting on God. That's important. How often do we wait on God? Or do we do things truly our way and not God's way? We all are guilty. We all are sinners saved by grace. We all make mistakes. We all mess up. We all do things outside of God's will. We all sometimes don't wait. We all are impatient. We want everything in a microwave, but we don't do things in a crock pot. We don't do things in the oven. We want everything microwave, like I said in my last video, DoorDashed. But we don't want to take the time to let it roll in the oven for a few hours. Let it roll in the crock pot for overnight. We're a microwavable generation. But sometimes God wants us to be that smooth, easy crock pot that just cooks overnight and trusts and yield to his will and to his way. God bless you. I love you. I thank you. Please subscribe. Share this with your family, friends, and loved ones. Whatever topics, come to heart, come to mind, let me know. I appreciate everything you've done. God bless you. I'm so thankful, so humble, so honored. And I appreciate all of you. I learned from you. There's so many people that have inspired me, that encouraged me to do this. I'm thankful for them. I'm thankful for feedback, comments, whatever I can do to impact a kingdom and impact someone's life. That's all I want to do. I thank you. I love you. I'm humbled. God bless you. Until next time, I'll see you then. Thank you.